A new UN report says that all parties in Ethiopia's civil war have committed atrocities and that they include rape, unlawful killing and torture. The ruthless conflicts being waged by the Tigray People's Liberation Front and the Ethiopian government. RT correspondent Paula Sleer travelled to the country and met some of the victims.
I'm 135 kilometers from the capital city of Addis Ababa in a city called Debre Birhan. Now, this is the first city when you're traveling from the capital where you get a sense of the impact of the fighting over the past few weeks and the past few days. And that is because victims, rape victims, people who were stabbed or shot, soldiers, people who witnessed the brutality of the TPLF, the Tigray People's Liberation Party, and their supporters have been brought here, largely because the hospitals in the areas that were under fighting were completely destroyed. So this is the main hospital here. We're going to try and get in and see if we can talk to some of the victims and to some of the doctors about what is happening and what they've witnessed so far.
About 25 women were admitted in our hospital, and the majority of women were treated and discharged home with better improvement. And the remaining 10 are admitted here. Still, we can visit them. And one of the clients is 80 years old, woman. Yeah, 80.
And she was raped?
Yeah, she raped, and you can visit her. Still, she is admitted in our hospital. By hearing this news, it's a very shocking news. Raping 80 years old woman is senseless. It's senseless, and rather it has a psychological impact.
Can you ask them if they're okay to talk to us?
Yeah, yes, they are volunteer.
They're okay?
Yeah.
They're okay?
Yes,
to come in?
yes.
When I was asleep during the night, he knocked on the door and said, "Please open the door." Then he punched me, took me down, and raped me. I don't know him. He was a stranger with a gun. I'll never forget what he did to me.
They came to my home accusing me of being the wife of one of their enemies. I denied it, but they just burst into my home, tied me up, and then 4 of them raped me. I was in the 5th month of my pregnancy, and I lost the baby. I'm not sure if I'll ever be fine again.
I normally do teaching. I'm a high school teacher in Addis Ababa. But after the war broke out, I just came here to help this hospital as a volunteer. The Ethiopian government tried his best. It's best to not start the war. As we see, the CNN, the BBC, the Al Jazeera, and many other France 24, there are many other international medias which are doing together with the TPLF forces, because as we have seen in Gondar place, the people who were caught by the soldiers, who were surrendered to the soldiers or were entrapped by the soldiers, they said, we are formally told by our leaders to wear Ethiopian force uniforms and then rape people, kill civilians, whatever, to emblem the Ethiopian soldiers, okay? They produce fake movie, they produce fake pictures from different religious places, and then they say Ethiopian government is bombarding churches and mosques.
Well, now we're going to go to a nearby town where actually most of the rape victims come from. After hearing their harrowing stories, we now go and see the actual damage that was left behind. I'm standing in what I think was the living room of a house that, what I can piece together from what the neighbors are telling me, used to be home to some 10 people who've now fled and have taken refuge with family in Addis Ababa, in the capital city. I'm in the town of Ataya, and the Tigray People's Liberation Front and their allies came here at least 8 times. So that's 8 different occasions, and the last time they stayed for 18 days. So as you can see, they've completely destroyed homes like this. I mean, there's absolutely nothing left. So not only did they loot the home, but they also burnt it when they left. And not only are people still afraid to come back, but there's really not much to come back to. I mean, if you look here, even the window frames, absolutely everything has been taken. Everything. The war has been raging for just over a year, and the government keeps promising it will end soon. But for people who live here, it's already too late. They've lost everything. Paula Sleer, RT, Ethiopia.
Well, the UN Human Rights Council earlier voted for an independent investigation into the atrocities committed by all sides and the government crackdown. Ethiopia itself proclaimed the decision politically motivated and refused to cooperate. Experts say they'll need a year to collect evidence and to build prosecution.